Welcome to the PROCAS Expense User Training Series. In the previous videos, we've talked about per diem expense being one of the types of expenses you can record, and we've gone over adding an itinerary to your expense report. In this video, we'll cover how to add meals and incidentals expense per diem, also known as M&IE. As a government contractor, you are reimbursed for M&IE based on predetermined allowances and limits called per diem. For business trips longer than 12 hours in a day, the government allows for reimbursement of 75% of the total M&IE per diem for that day. For trips that are over 12 hours and go overnight, the government allows for reimbursement of 75% on the first and last days of the trip. In addition to the dates and times of your trip, your M&IE per diem allowance is also affected by any meals that have been provided during your trip. The expense report knows the dates, times, and locations based on your itinerary, so be sure you've recorded that first. Now we'll need to tell the system if there were any furnished meals. Here's our expense report where we've recorded the itinerary for our business trip to Honolulu from January 4th to the 7th. Let's click Add Edit Furnished Meals to view the per diem list. As you can see, we are allowed 75% of the per diem rate on the 4th and the 7th and the full rate on the 5th and the 6th. The total M&IE per diem rate actually consists of an amount for incidentals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When a furnished meal is selected, the allowance for that day is reduced accordingly. So let's say that the client took us to a luau for dinner on the last day of the trip. So, on the 6th, we will select the checkbox for Furnished Dinner and click Save. We see that our allowance has been reduced by $47, from $117 to $70 for that day. Let's click Save and View Expense Report to save our changes. Now the expense report knows how much M&IE is allowed, but it doesn't know what charge code to use to record the expense. Let's do that now by clicking the Add M&IE Per Diem link. In the left pane is a list of all of the M&IE charge codes that we have been authorized to charge to by our administrator. Since this trip was for work on our Air Force project, we'll click Use next to the USAF Phase 2 charge code. On the right is a place to type in a date range, and the charge code details are displayed just underneath. There are two common scenarios. The first is the easiest. Click Add without putting in any dates. This will add all of the allowed per diem for each day of the trip to the Air Force charge code that you selected. If necessary, you can delete any line of detail by clicking the Delete button. The second scenario is for when part of the trip is business related but the remainder of the trip is personal. Since we were in Hawaii, we decided to extend the trip and do some sightseeing on our own time. Obviously, we can't claim per diem on the personal days, so this is when the date range is useful. Again, click Use next to the Air Force charge code. Then type the date range for the business portion of the trip and click Add. You'll notice that only the dates in the date range have a charge code associated with them. When you're done, click View Expense Report. Notice that an M&IE per diem entry has been automatically added to your expense report with the charge code details, dates, and amounts. We've covered the basics for adding M&IE per diem to an expense report. For step-by-step instructions or using all of the features, you can download the PROCAS Expense User Instructions from the Help link by clicking Downloads. Click on a link to start another training video, or see our other PROCAS time and expense training videos, which cover the basics for using the system.